Supervisor Richard Forster with your Board of Supervisors report for our meeting of April 28th, 2015. Boy, the year's going by fast. We had an item on the consent agenda today, relatively short agenda, but this was pulled off by Supervisor Lynn Morgan regarding the annual report for the limited density rural dwellings. And this is a new code that was passed, an new ordinance that was passed to allow people to have some easing of restrictions placed on them through building codes. Although this low density rural dwelling permit, the LDRD permit as they're called, has been around the state of California for about 25 years. What it does is allow people to build a home without having the necessity of putting in sprinklers. This new sprinkler requirement just came in a couple years ago. Myself, I know it could save lives. It could help firefighters if they go in. Myself, I'd rather build a house without the sprinklers because of the issues we have with high volumes of constituents in our water that affect the pipes and everything else there. But it does allow you to build a home without the sprinklers being placed in the house. It allows you to forego some of the inspections, so it's just less intensive than a regular building permit process. Supervisor Morgan was questioning more so the location because it was her thought that when this was developed, it was developed for building smaller structures like hunting cabins and things like that up in the high country. It's really open to anyone in the county to utilize this, but all the permits or structures that were built were located on 5 acres or larger, and west of the Mount Diablo Meridian line, range 13/14, which is Dewdrop. So most of these homes were built lower. There were 5 permits taken out. Out of those 5, one of them was withdrawn. One of the homes was taken out, permit on April 28, 2014. That home is complete now, about 4,700 square feet. And then you have 2 under construction, 1,520 and 3,700 square feet, and another that has submitted plans for review, and that's 3,100 square feet. So that is the report from Aaron Bruce Torrey, our Community Development Director. I think the program is working well. By the way, if you build a house that is low density rural dwelling or LDRD, I think you have to put a deed restriction or at least something on your deed to tell people that it was built without compliance with the state codes, but it was built in compliance with the county ordinance on the LDRD. Next item up, which was a long discussion, was, and I'm not sure it's going to have a quick resolution, on the Pine Grove Town Hall and the parking. The Pine Grove Town Hall is landlocked. What we had is property owners, Mr. and Mrs. Zoltan Novaki, who are upset, and this has been going on for years, that people are parking in their lot next door, which they've have businesses on there, and the complaint is that people are coming into Pine Grove Town Hall, even to go to the library or for events, and parking on their property, where then they should be parking across the street at some of the other businesses during off hours or in the Pine Grove Park. There is an option, or there might be a couple of options. A committee was appointed of Supervisors Boitano, which is his district, and Supervisor Morgan. They will look at the adjacent property, the Brooks Trust property, which the county has had deals with them over the past, or Pine Grove Town Hall renters have had agreements to allow for some parking there. Also, there's some curbing in front that might be able to be taken out. There are some areas that might be able to convert it to a bus stop and might create some parking. All that needs to be investigated, and the committee will do that along with our General Services Director, John Hopkins, and we'll try to come to a resolution to that issue, short of looking at buying the Brooks Trust property, which financially does not look like a viable option for the county. Next item up, Chamber of Commerce. Beth and Tommy were in to talk about the Chamber of Commerce. Beth is the president this year, and the discussion was on their budget. Frankly, a couple of the board members were looking at their budget and wondering, are you going to be viable in the future, because they show a deficit of $23,650. Maybe that shouldn't be our business so much, but it is, because if we're going to give a $25,000 request to them on the transient occupancy tax money, we want to make sure that, and I think it's our fiduciary responsibility to make sure the taxpayer funds are spent wisely. We asked for a report in the future exactly where that $25,000 is going to be designated, but I have to say Chamber is doing a good job. They have increased their membership pretty substantially. That's why we're not exactly sure about the financial report. They said they did have some trouble in the last year. What we did ask for also was a 2-year running report on their profit and loss statement to kind of try to figure out why they have that the issue. But their membership has increased. The Chamber is actively out there trying to show that they're not just a mixer organization. They have created an app for their members to go on, and for anyone to access that app and find out more about the Chamber before they get to the County of Amador. They have a speaking series that talks about things like insurance, how to hire employees, commercial loans, investments, retirement accounts, and a number of other things that are good educational items for small businesses to learn more about. And you know, not everyone that has a small business is an expert in these areas, so it's good to have other small businesses educate them and at the same time go out and garner some business. So the other thing they noted is they have redone the inside of the Chamber office down on Main Street in Jackson. Be a good time to go visit that, and they have been getting many more visitors from around the county and out of the county to visit the offices there. They're also always looking for volunteers. A couple of other items. The board did discuss improvements to the Scout Hut septic system at Pioneer Park. This was brought to us by our General Services Department because we're looking at tying into the library system is what we were looking into. Now we may be tying into the snack shop. We need to look at issues like capacity and the fall to make sure that's viable. The last item on the agenda, Healthy Amador Project. Marv Hampton came in and discussed that. The board ultimately did again reaffirm their support for the Healthy Amador Project without putting any funding towards it. And 223-6470 if you have any questions. We're going to go to a break and then to our Rome segment.
TSPN's programming is now being posted to YouTube, so you can